The teacher's first meeting with the students was anything but ordinary. He snapped one of their spines without hesitation. The students struggled desperately, their bodies writhing as if on the verge of breaking completely. In the next moment, they lost all ability to move, collapsing on the ground like lifeless dogs. The teacher calmly drew blood and offered its essence to the two students. Within seconds, both of them stood up again, fully revived. This was the teacher's twisted, welcome gift, a promise to hunt them relentlessly. His rule? The training would only end when the two students managed to defeat him. Suddenly, the Blood Girl conjured a massive iron hammer and tossed it to the protagonist. With a confident swing, the protagonist attacked, but the teacher dodged effortlessly. In response, the teacher landed 3 quick stabs, leaving the protagonist staggering. Even in his weakened state, the protagonist found himself in a crushing headlock. Blood Girl tried to take advantage of the moment and launched a sneak attack from behind, but before she could swing her weapon, the teacher silenced her with a single slash. After observing their resilience, the teacher came to a conclusion. The boy was immortal, while the girl was a semi-immortal. Satisfied, he declared these unbreakable toys to be quite entertaining. After enduring an entire day of torment, the two students began to question the meaning of their existence. The protagonist even showed signs of losing his sanity, needing a light punch to snap out of it. "How many times was I killed today?" the protagonist asked himself. As if to make matters worse, the teacher announced that the training would continue tomorrow. On their way home, the protagonist couldn't help but reflect on the madness of their situation. The thought of it reignited his determination, and both students vowed to defeat the teacher with a single strike the next morning. Blood Girl set up an ambush inside the room, while the protagonist prepared for a surprise attack from upstairs. As the teacher approached the door and reached for the handle, Blood Girl conjured a blood-red spear. She hurled it toward the door, aiming to strike the teacher. He narrowly avoided being skewered. The teacher pulled the spear out effortlessly, but he didn't expect more attacks. Upstairs, the protagonist carried several bottles of blood. Blood Girl manipulated them from within the room, causing the bottles to shatter. The spilled blood transformed into a flurry of spears that launched toward the teacher at high speed. Despite the onslaught, the teacher calmly deflected each spear with ease, showing no signs of stress. Seizing the moment, the protagonist leaped down from above, ready to deliver a decisive strike to the teacher's neck. However, the teacher noticed him in time and fired a precise shot upward, halting the attack. The force was so intense that even the protagonist's glasses, meant to make him look cool, went flying. The teacher pointed out their mistakes. Blood Girl's technique drained too much of her own blood, while the protagonist's sneak attacks lacked proper execution. Despite their failure, the teacher praised their efforts and announced that the session was over for the day. Relieved, the protagonist thought he'd finally avoid death today, only for a dagger to come flying out of nowhere. The blade struck directly at the protagonist's heart with unnerving precision. It seemed like a cruel rule. He had to die at least once a day. Meanwhile, Aki learned that only 2 lives remained in their fight against the devils. Determined to grow stronger, he decided to make a contract with a more powerful devil for revenge. But the cost of this decision was far greater than he had anticipated. What would you give in exchange for an eye that can see the future? Some sacrificed 6 months of their life, others gave up their sight, taste, and smell. To gain the future devil's power, one only needed to place their head inside its stomach. Would you take that risk? Once the future devil sees the way you will die, it reveals the terms of the contract. Aki was surprised by how simple the conditions seemed. The devil chose to reside in his right eye purely because it wanted to witness Aki's death. This was because Aki was destined to die in the most gruesome way possible. Without hesitation, Aki allowed the devil to take residence in his eye. He was eager for revenge. Meanwhile, Denji and Blood Girl, after enduring relentless and grueling training, had finally improved to the point where they could land a touch on their teacher's cheek. The next mission involved a full team deployment to capture Katana Man and Snake Woman. This was their chance to avenge their fallen comrades. However, if the operation failed, Denji would be captured and killed. With their newfound strength from the training, Denji radiated confidence. The following day, numerous support personnel arrived at the capture site. However, the real fighters were members of the Public Safety Special Division. Among them was the Shark Fiend, who could swim through solid ground like water, devouring zombies with terrifying ease like a true predator. There was also the Violence Fiend, a melee combat master, and the horrifying Spider Devil, which had no legs but moved with terrifying agility. Lastly, there was the Angel Devil, who could drain life force from anyone it touched. While the fiends and devils handled the zombies on the ground floor, Denji and the others ascended the building in search of Katana Man and Snake Woman. Aki reached the 4th floor during the search when suddenly a killer appeared from behind a door. Aki continued searching the building but was suddenly stopped by Snake Woman summoning a new threat. With a wave of her left hand, a gust of wind swept through the hall. Out emerged the Ghost Devil. Instantly, dozens of arms reached out toward Aki, but Aki skillfully severed each of them one by one. His precise movements and agility were thanks to the power of the future Devil's Eye, allowing him to predict his enemy's next move. However, merely predicting was not enough. If his reflexes faltered, punishment awaited. One massive hand struck him hard, forcing him to cough up blood, and another grabbed him by the neck. As Aki struggled on the verge of collapse, he recalled a moment with Himeno when she offered him a cigarette during his teenage years. At that time, Himeno took it back, saying, "I'll hold on to this for now." The scene shifted back to the present. In one of the Ghost Devil's hands, Aki noticed something. The hand slowly opened, revealing the same cigarette from years ago. He was stunned. It had been saved all this time. Placing the cigarette back in his mouth, Aki climbed onto the Ghost Devil's head. As he struck the final blow, memories of Himeno's words echoed in his mind. Snake Woman attempted a counterattack, but Kobeni swiftly held a knife to her throat, stopping her. With the threat neutralized, Aki asked Kobeni, "Why are you still working in public safety?" Kobeni hesitated, thinking for a moment before answering. Meanwhile, Denji continued searching for Katana Man. When the elevator doors opened, he was met with a massive horde of zombies.